You know that I love you. Oh, I can't. Oh. Everyone wants to see a bit of a behind the scenes video for the video I posted on Instagram yesterday. So I'm going to do one today.
Fibres for yarn.
We're now told it could cost 100 billion. God knows how that happens.
I guess it's quite quiet in here. I think you can still hear some sheep outside. We're in Wales. What do you expect? I know that people say you don't need fancy kit and fancy lighting to make these videos. I agree with that, but at the same time, it is a bit of a pain in the ass when you're using a setup like this. I never wanted to be one of those filmmakers that do like a top 5 ways to do this transition, or I don't know, secrets, best cameras and all that kind of thing. Wait, this fucking... That is ridiculous though, isn't it? It's quite good, isn't it? So yeah, I guess the main thing is I want to try and cover things that aren't typically seen on YouTube, and the only way I can try and do that is to tell you how I see it from my perspective, and hopefully maybe you can get something from that to use in your own videos. Not as intense.
Sam, you're not filming me, are you?
No! Anyway, so one of the main things that I feel made this video was the transitions. Now, there are lame transitions, and there are cool transitions. I'm filming a video! It's always weird talking to a camera when your mum and dad walk in. Just can't get any peace. Now, there are lame transitions, and there are cool transitions. Never do lame transitions, unless you're doing it sarcastically, which is fine. The best kind of transitions, I think especially for this kind of content, are done in camera. This is when you use the movement of the camera to transition into the next shot. This kind of stuff can be really hard when you don't have a storyboard and there's no real plan for what you're shooting. Like when I was walking around the festival, obviously I had no idea what shots were going where, when I needed to be moving the camera, how that was going to link to the next bit. Yeah, so this is actually the raw footage of Gene playing the guitar, and I was shooting it like this on purpose because I knew I was at 50 frames so I could slow it down, and I knew I wanted my swipe transitions. I just realised at this point you might not have actually seen the video that I'm referring to, so I'm going to play it now. If you've already seen it, just skip forward about 30 seconds. We're going to Green Man Festival.
We could find a place for your passion. Cool down, simmer. Cool now, please me. Cool now, sinner. Cool down, too hard. Oh, you make it hard for me to say now, please. Oh, you make it hard for me to cool down, love. Cool down, simmer. Cool now, simmer, simmer.
So generally in terms of the whole video, I think it needs to be split up into rough sections to start with. So with this video we've got kind of the natural start, which is before the festival, and then we've got the tickets at the start by the gate, and then we've got some daytime clips, and then we've got a sort of drop into the nighttime stuff. Then we have a nice little calming break, just for the viewer to get a little breather. And then at the end we have a bit more stuff going on visually, and the music's picked back up a bit. And so when it comes to a camera wipe transition, I'm always thinking about 3 main things: subject, movement, and image tone. So the subject is really important with transitions. You know, that's what actually makes up the story. There's no point going from one shot to another if they're completely unrelated and it doesn't even make sense in the story. Even if the tones of each image and the movement match perfectly, it has to work within the narrative. So let's say in this video, a good example of this is where I've got the shot of the Ferris wheel. Is that what they're called? Yes. Yes, the eye thing. I've got the shot of the Ferris wheel, and after we go straight to a shot of Lottie, who's sat on the Ferris wheel. So it's kind of like, you kind of see that, and then you're on the Ferris wheel. So it's really important that the subjects and the story of the 2 shots match. The next thing is movement, which is ironic because I really want to keep moving this camera. It gives it better energy, you know? Whatever. Movement's a little bit more of an easier one because it's literally just the camera swipe, the movement of the camera. And I think most camera movements physically are very similar, but the things that will affect that quite a lot are things like the shutter speed. If you have quite a fast shutter, you're going to get very crisp frames when you move the camera, and that might not fit so well if you have a slower shutter on the other shot. If you did need to force some motion blur, you could add some directional blur like I'm doing here. It's not optimal, but it helps. I have actually got an example in this video where the shutter was fast and the shot I wanted to cut to was also quite fast, and I think it seems to work quite fluidly. Fluidly?
We could find a place for you. We could find a place for you.
That's going to be my thumbnail.
This.
Yeah.
Living that bougie life.
The third and final thing I think about with the transitions is the image tone. It's much easier on the eye if the image tones match in some way. If you say you've got a darker bottom half a frame and a lighter top half a frame, you kind of want to try and, in the next shot, match that up so that the time the viewer sees this transition is stretched out a little bit. It's not quite as jarring. A good example of that in this video is actually where I transitioned from a pint that had half a lager in it to the table where it was raining, because I tried to match those colours a little bit, and I did a little luma fade on the top half of the pint so that could kind of fade in to this table shot, which was much better actually than when it was just a harsh cut. And I'll play those two together now. So subject, movement, and image tone. Bam! Gotta stop doing that with this MacBook, it's gonna break. It's all about it being easy on the eye. I'm gonna move on to some extra tips. It's a bit weird if I lie down. No, this is so cringy. Nope, can't do that, that's gonna look cringe. The music for this was really, really important. The music's always really, really important. I did a video on finding the right music and where you can go, so I'll link that below. But for this was literally just when I was viewing back the clips. There was a shot of Lottie dancing in the tent, and the music was just kind of on in the background.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
I was just like, this vibe kind of works. And then from that, I just kind of got a feel in the video. It could have been that there was a song at the festival that, I don't know, it was playing somewhere, and I felt like, yeah, that kind of works with this clip, let's use this for the video. It just kind of crops up. Obviously the biggest thing to mention with that is that these are commercial songs and you're not really supposed to use these anywhere. Instagram, you can kind of, they don't pick up on it as much. But I'm not gonna talk about it too much now. Bam! Watch my video, it's called Start with the Music. Oh man, I'm becoming a tutorial guy. I've got to be careful. Again, not that's a bad thing. It's not really what I want to do too much of. Nah, it's fine, it's fine. It's good, this is fun. The matching bubble thing with the blue light that kind of twisted around, that's quite a simple one really. It transitions really nicely from the first section into the kind of the middle section with all the dark clips. But I basically got the image that I shot of the ceiling in that tent and extended out the blue lines a lot more in After Effects, and then tracked that onto the bubble. Quite a simple one, but quite cool, quite cool. The inspiration for that was from a Calder film. Like most things are. Bloody Sam Calder. Videos are just too damn good. The other quick thing to mention is the Red Giant Universe plugin I use. I pay a subscription of about £20–30 a month for this, but it's so much better than the overlays you can buy, like the overlay packs you can buy. This plugin is actually, I think, is well worth the buck, and I think well worth the buck. I've never said that before. You can actually change the amount of like dust and scratches and the amount of whatever you're using. It's really good. I also tried out the paint and stick animation effect. That was just a bit of fun. You can get that from AE Scripts. It's the only way you can get Photoshop brushes into After Effects, so I was keen to play with that. I hope that helps somewhat. A few people were asking about a bit of how I made it behind the scenes sort of thing with this video. And so yeah, I thought I'd do this quick little video whilst I'm here at home waiting for my car MOT to be sorted out. I think the MOT was this morning. So hopefully I can go back to Bristol soon. Not that being at home isn't great with mum and dad, but they're starting to drive me crazy. See you in the next video.